It doesn't have to be the point of emphasis. It needs to be part of the storyline.
These college coaches deserve more criticism than NFL coaches. Why?
It's a different level now. It's professional sports. I wish we would treat it like that. There continues to be this hiding away in the shadows everything that has been discussed all offseason with college football. It's time that they call out the system that acts like they're changing something, but they haven't. When it comes to telling it like it is, especially with officiating. Chad, I don't want to come across here as wanting to see college football players ripped to shreds, or head coaches for that matter, ripped to shreds. They are a level below the NFL here, but they're also a level above high school football. This is not the scholar athlete, where we have a great class attendance. As Chad always likes to mention, we haven't heard anything about APR in a long, long time. The broadcast over this past weekend irritated the crap out of me, to the point where I'm thinking about, there needs to be an education on what DBAP means. Don't be a pussy. And there continues to be this hiding away in the shadows everything that has been discussed all off season with college football. I'm listening to storylines. Let's just start from the very end of the week with UNC and TCU. In the second half, they're trying to fill time because UNC is getting their ass kicked. And it was literally said, the storyline coming into this game was Belichick and all of his new players. No, it wasn't. It was Belichick and his girlfriend. That was it. No one talked about this team at all until Monday night. Florida State beats the crap out of Alabama. Huge story. But what I don't want to hear for 4 quarters is how their quarterback is backing it up when he quit on his team last year. And that's not mentioned. Walked out on them. Said he was out of there, hitting the portal. It frustrates me to see and hear over and over again, broadcast after broadcast, it's early. These quarterbacks, it's early. These quarterbacks now are getting paid $3-4 million. They ran out of excuses for Nico and how crappy he was playing, considering what he did to his team months earlier. Really, the only criticism that was fair was with Arch Manning. I can't think of another quarterback that played like shit and was actually called out of the carpet for it after taking the millions to leave the team that he was with. And I'm frustrated because I don't want to be insulted. Fans shouldn't be insulted when we are just inundated with transfer portal. 3,000 players entered the portal. 3,000. And I continue to hear this thing like this guy gives his all for his university. Yeah, and he'll leave for another one in a couple of months. Head coaches, the buyouts are outrageous. I don't want to have this pity party for how someone saved his job last year when he was going to make $50 million to fail. And finally, the officials. Chad, I thought about how you may be punching a wall with the fake injuries that Syracuse was pulling during this game, when the offseason emphasis and storyline of officials was the adjustment to the rule on fake injuries and what would happen if this continued. You told me how many calls all weekend?
There were 2 calls in week 0 with those limited games. There had to have been more this week because everybody was playing, but Hutton, I still have not found
in week 0,
the data on how many in week 1 were called.
So what I do know is it wasn't called in Tennessee, Syracuse. And it was blatant. You got 2 guys dropping at the same time. The broadcast continues to hate it. But, at this point, we're beyond calling it out. Call out the officials who are told to call this as a penalty all offseason as the adjust. I don't know. Last year, the NFL adjusted what was going to be considered the proper alignment for the offensive line. And there were tons of flags through the first 2 weeks. And then they cleaned it up. They got tired of wasting everyone's time. But that early in the season, the point of emphasis, the flags were on the field. And I didn't see that here. And at some point, you've got to call out the officials, regardless of the fact that even the officials in the booth, the analysts, don't even know what the hell's going on. And in this case, finally, we've got these calls in the end zone, catch, no catch. the replay system's going. It's called a catch on the field in both instances I was watching. And I think Joel Klatt was one of them. If Joel wasn't one, my apologies, Joel. But it was one of the big games. And the call is overturned.
It was Joel Klatt.
Okay. And after complaining about if it's a catch, it looks like this is a catch, guys. This is a catch. After the ruling on the field is changed, the comment was made, well, I understand why they made this review and why they made this call, but there doesn't need to be any glaze over what should be just a fair criticism of a system that's messed up. When your analyst in the booth, some of the best officials, and why they're in that position, some of the best officials over their career are now in the booth to help assist the broadcast with what's going on the field. When they get it wrong, no wonder the officials on the field get it wrong. They're not going to be any better. Not everyone can be Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. I think they're pretty even on when it comes to like telling it like it is, especially with officiating. But as bad as officiating has been across college sports, if they're going to call out flopping and fake injuries, it's time that they call out the system that acts like they're changing something, but they haven't. And I don't want a bunch of penalties, but I also don't want to waste my time in the offseason thinking that everything's awry with college football, and guys are quitting on teams the year prior, and then all of a sudden they're the savior, and they're backing up all their trash talk. That's just it doesn't have to be the point of emphasis. It needs to be part of the storyline. And I don't want to just act like nothing happened. And that's what it's practically every broadcast. It's like a high school game where you don't want to criticize anybody because they're trying to improve. They're getting beat 45-0, and it is what it is. It's a different level now. It's professional sports, and I wish we would treat it like that.
Hutton, you've triggered me on this. I'm very triggered by all these things because
in a good way or bad way?
Everything you brought up, I'm thinking of countless examples of where you're right, and it pisses me off. Now, let me say this about it's a level below the NFL. Yes, from a play standpoint, it's a level below the NFL. These players aren't officially professional, but yet, wink, wink, they are because they are paid to play in college.
No representation, but yeah.
Well, here's where it's not like the NFL, and this is what I'm so tired of. These college coaches deserve more criticism than NFL coaches. Why? NFL coaches don't get $69.5 million to fail.
Right.
That's what Kalen DeBoer would get at Alabama. A team that is undisciplined, a team that doesn't run hard to the football on defense, a team that has their star offensive tackle holding his damn cell phone during drills before the game, that's getting praised by Alabama media. Oh, look, Caden Proctor looks locked in as he holds his iPhone 17 during pregame drills. That dude deserves all the criticism as the head coach. I do not feel one bit sorry for Kalen DeBoer or Hugh Freeze, who might get paid $20 million to fail. It's ridiculous. Don't shed any tears over these head college coaches. They know the deal. They're getting paid more than most humans will ever make in a lifetime, in 15 lifetimes, in 55 lifetimes. And some of them are getting paid to fail. When they do it, they get paid a lump sum. So I believe college coaches deserve more criticism than NFL coaches. So I don't buy that. I think it's a step up in terms of criticism.
Oh, I mean, the contracts are absolutely a step up. They're the highest paid employees in the state, for the state employees for in many cases.
Well, I do want to give a little bit of credit where credit is due.
Okay, good.
Bob Wischusen and Louis Riddick on ESPN, and I went back and watched the clip today. They at least called a spade a spade. When Syracuse had two guys drop at the same time, one after a Tennessee first down, they said, now this is ridiculous. This is what they're trying to stop. It needs to be called. If you're not going to call this, they criticized it. And then when he came right back in the game, they said, miraculous recovery for Demetrius Samuels on this play.
And I'm okay with that.
And they were critical of the players doing that. And they were somewhat critical of the officials for not flagging it.
But they were critical last year in order to get this changed, right? Like they supercharged this effort because fans says it's not fair. Like it's not a part. It should be a part of the game, even though it's not against the rules.
And this is what's got me rolling on all of this, Hutton. 4-hour game.
Oh, I know.
Tennessee and Syracuse took over 4 hours to complete. Adam Brown was there. I'm sure it was misery being in that stadium with all the commercial break. Why do we have to go to a commercial break every time someone fakes an injury? I'm sorry. Tennessee fakes injuries on every extra point in which they score quickly. This is a well-known thing, so much so that broadcasters joke about it. Now, is there a difference between stopping the game in play and doing that? Yeah, there is in terms of gamesmanship, but you're faking injuries after extra points. Here is my plea to ESPN or any network that covers a Tennessee game or anyone else. Go to commercial the moment the guy's faking the injury and be back in time for the game to start. We don't have to hang with the injury to see what happens. Immediately go to commercial, get the card out or whatever you have to do to the fake injury, or roll the guy's fat ass off the field, whoever's faking the injury on the play, and get back to playing football. That's what we want to watch on Saturdays. We don't want to watch guys writhing around in the field and watch 15 medical trainers go to work on someone who's faking an injury. No college football fan wants this. So you have to start calling it. I am somewhat sympathetic to officials in that you do not want to be the guy who flags a guy for faking an injury and it turns out he tore his Achilles or he tore his hamstring or he did whatever, because then you look really foolish if that guy doesn't come back in the game, and that coach is going to be on you the rest of the game, that fan base is going to be on you, all of that. Here's what I propose, because the Tennessee-Syracuse game is a perfect example. I went back and watched the film of it. Two guys clearly get a signal from the sideline. One hits the deck. One guy starts to fall, and when he sees his teammate on the ground, he gets back up. Hutton, we need a system in place where, just like if there's a punch thrown, a fight that happens on the sideline, or anything else, where you can go back and every conference can review the tape after games and you suspend those players for the first half of the next game.
Well, see, here's the problem,
if they do it.
They're doing it because the coaches are telling them to drop.
And the coaches will stop it if their star players are getting suspended.
Well, but they'll rotate someone in for a play and then drop. Like they'll do some. They will do this because.
But my
there's
point
already
is, if it's blatant,
when
like
two guys drop at the same time,
the Tennessee-Syracuse game, if it's blatant the way that was, and the guy's right back in the game,
and
then the league office will come in and say, this guy is sitting for the first half of the next game. If you want to stop, you're right. It's coaches that are signaling. It's not the player's fault if they're being. It's like the code red.
But it's only
if they're being demanded to do it.
It's impacting that specific game with that offense. If they're suspended for the next game, that doesn't do anything to benefit the team that's being told to slow down.
Yeah, that's that's being negatively affected by slowing
in
the pace of play.
Yeah, like you want to keep it going, and they're dropping. There's just throw the flag based on the rules that you had in place going into the weekend.
I think we've seen, though, that refs are afraid to throw it because they don't want to be the one guy who gets it wrong if someone's actually hurt. So I'm saying, look, you're right. It doesn't affect that in-game, but I do think that would be something that would curb coaches from doing it if they're the ones constantly pinched and their players, their starters, are getting suspended, for game after game in the first half. Then eventually there will be a trickle-down effect where that happens less and less.
Now, what I can tell you...
That would be my hope.
Me too. Now, what I can tell you is, there was a lot of talk whenever ESPN and the NFL went into business together. The NFL now owns 10% of ESPN, and what the coverage will be like now for the four-letter network because of the ownership of the league that they're covering. What I can tell you is there won't be broadcasts where it's like, well, it's early, and man, this quarterback he's just overshooting targets, and he's making his rookie salary, but man, he's going to come along. That's just not going to happen. I think what I'm saying is just the obvious coverage. Just state the obvious. You don't have to there doesn't need to be any polish with this. And finally, to cap everything off for the weekend, Kirk Herbstreit is in the booth with his damn golden retriever with a headset on the retriever. This is where we've ended up, where it's the greatest weekend of college. Wait until you see the schedule for week 2. They're not going to say anything about how bad the schedule is this week. But week 1 was awesome. It felt like Saturday to me, except for the fact that I don't feel like the guys in the booth are actually saying what they think. I think they're being told to tone it down. How else can we say that? Because these guys aren't stupid. I think they're just as frustrated as everyone. Look at this. I mean, whatever. I love dogs.
You do love dogs.
But this is ridiculous.
You love dogs.
It's a feature every single week.
I've been accused of not loving dogs.
Yeah.
In fact, I've been accused of hating dogs at different times over my career.
Or putting dogs down.
I want to go on the record.
Poisoning.
I've never done that. Okay. I want to go on the record with two different facts here, okay?
Yep.
One, I do not hate dogs. I enjoy a good dog,
Yep.
a well-trained dog. I don't like feral beasts, that we run and attack and bite and do all that. But I like a nice, well-mannered, well-trained dog. I'm not anti-dog in any way. The second fact is that I really enjoy Kirk Herbstreit's on-air work.
Me
I think
too.
he's very skilled.
Great.
And he's very good at what he does. He's one of the best in our business, and I applaud him for that. The third fact I'd like to acknowledge is that the coverage of Kirk Herbstreit's Golden Retriever makes me hate dogs. I don't care if PETA clips this and watches it, but the next time I see that damn dog in a headset or him jump up on the desk during a broadcast, this is getting me closer and closer to not just hating this animal, but hating every dog. Every dog on the planet, that's how pissed off this makes me.
If Chad hates a golden retriever, it is official. He hates every dog on the planet.
I had a dog as a child who saved my damn life, Goldie, my golden retriever. This is a true story. Back when parents never watched their kids, apparently in the 80s, I wandered away from my parents with a diaper on, went to our very busy road we lived on, which was like 100 yards from my house, by the way.
Okay.
Wandered off, crawled out there. When they found me, my dog Goldie was pulling me back by my britches, pulling me back away from the busy road and saving my life.
Old Yeller.
The same man who was saved by a golden retriever is now being completely poisoned by this coverage to the point that my favorite breed of dog, the golden retriever, I am now starting to hate because of this bullshit right here.
This coverage.
I cannot stand it anymore. I cannot watch college football games where someone's pet is the focal point. I can't do it.
This is I love this rant. By the way, you sound like a guy who does hate dogs.
I do, but I don't. I promise.
I
definitely sound that way though.
It's every single week. If this is a one-off, whatever. It's every single week.
I mean, I can't wait until they do the Corso-like send-off for this dog on College Game Day.
Well, this is his.
Is the Ohio State marching band going to form and put
new dog?
What's this dog's name? What was the old one? Ben?
Ben, I think.
Do you think the Ohio State marching band will form the letters of the dog's name and the dog will make the final pick?
Yeah, they'll put the
when they retire the dog.
They'll dot the I.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. Kirk's great. But
no one's going to see the fact that I'm saying I love Kirk Herbstreit and his work on this, but I'm telling you right now, the dog has got to go from the broadcast,
right, so
not from Earth.
That capped it off for me.
I'm not, saying that, but the dog has to go away.
This is
from the broadcast.
This is like I just felt like the coverage over the weekend. It felt like a WNBA broadcast.
Yep,
where everything's got to be just
hunky dory.
Yes, and with all the it's like this guy's like he's here and he's helping Florida State. He's like, yeah, he just quit on his team. What happened to Boston College? Like he's welcome to go in the portal, but it's just the way it went down. That's part of the story here.
And I'll take it a step further. Hutton, you talked about the NFL and ESPN now and affecting their reporting and all of that. Like the transparent way that reporters and broadcasters, especially, that I noticed this, the transparent way in which they suck up to the conference they're calling.
Oh yeah,
I can't stand it. Like I guess there's a time and place for it, and I guess a lot of fans don't care or don't really see it the way that we do. But like here's an example, and I've talked about this in the NFL also. The conference should not be able to tell Fox to not have Dave Portnoy in Ohio Stadium. If Fox is paying a lot of money for Dave Portnoy, they should tell Ohio State to F off. I'm sorry, there's got to be mutual power here. Like, you cannot have conferences saying, this guy's been very critical of Ryan Day and Ohio State. And we're paying him. He's not going to do anything to burn the stadium down. We're going to put him in there. This happens constantly, and even if it's just subconscious, broadcasters placate to the conference they're calling because they are afraid that someone in the conference with power or an AD of the school or someone is going to bitch loud enough to the network to get them replaced or to get them off that broadcast. I understand that, like, you want to keep your job and all of those things, but if we could live in a world where there was mutual respect between conference, between league, and between broadcast partner, where they both had at least close to equal power, I think that'd be better for the consumer. And we're not there right now. Because these conferences, the SEC, the Big Ten, they can tell their media partners exactly how to call a game, exactly what to say, exactly when not to be critical of officials, all those things. And I don't like it.
I mean, you remember whenever we were calling, I believe it was you and I, we were calling the Penny Hardaway final game for Memphis when he was a high school coach. And we knew going in we weren't supposed to talk about the fact that he was actually the head coach, because he wasn't the actual head coach, but he was a head coach. So we treated him like that. And there was a kid, Alex Lomax, who lived with him.
Yep.
Now, it's a great story. We told the story. Everyone knew, but no one said it. And it's totally against like the bylaws or whatever. But everyone knew what was going on. Just like we know about all of this NIL and stuff. Like, it's just like, it's almost like they said, don't bring it up. But you have to bring it up. Fans are paying extra tax on their tickets because of this. You can't take a family of 4 to a game anymore.
Yeah.
You sit up in the upper deck, which is the hardest seat in sports to sell, but yet, on game day, we're going to pretend like nothing's going on. It's like 1994 all over again. I mean, it's insulting.
And Hutton, you know that we officially jumped the shark when during the Tennessee-Syracuse broadcast, I think they were talking about Joey Aguilar, but it could have been Steve Angeli. Pretty sure it was Joey Aguilar. Okay. They're telling a story about how Joey Aguilar took his entire receiver room out for a really nice steak dinner with his NIL money. Okay. And I'm thinking, when we're talking about stuff NFL quarterbacks do when they sign their big contract, like buying their offensive line jet skis and everything that they do now. And one of the receivers is like, I could have gone with the surf and turf option, but I just went with the turf and just got the steak. So I didn't want to bury him too much.
I didn't go sea bass. I went salmon.
We're in a different era where, 10 years ago, they'd have been talking about, this guy drives a Cutlass Supreme around campus, a Toyota Camry. And he's struggling with money back home. And now our quarterbacks are taking the entire receiving room out for thousands of dollar dinners because they get paid that much in NIL. It's a different time.
Imagine being like 20 years old and making $1 million plus.
It'd be gone in 4 months.
And
I'd find a way to spend that money quickly.
ESPN going away from the Tennessee game. ESPN has their own betting service.
Yep.
The line, the spread is in doubt, and they go off
3rd and goal from the 3.
What are you doing?
Like one way or the other, it was going to break.
This is your business now too. It was. Oh my gosh. Yes, I had money on it.
Here's another ESPN complaint for you. When that happened, Hutton, I didn't see first off, the game was over 4 hours, so I wanted to take a shower. So, but during one of the injury timeouts, one of the 17 injury timeouts,
Sunday morning.
I took a quick shower. By the time I got out, the game was off the TV.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that they moved to ESPN News. I saw all week that this game was on Disney Plus, which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah.
Because it was all the other games, nothing else was on Disney Plus. Tennessee Syracuse was. I have a Disney Plus subscription. I go to Disney Plus first. I go to it, and it says, not that this game is blacked out. It says we are experiencing technical difficulties. So what do? I stay there for a couple minutes thinking maybe it's going to pop in. No, that's the message they give when they're not going to show you the damn game on Disney Plus. Finally, a buddy texts me and says it's on ESPN News. So I go there just in time to find out that Tennessee scored a touchdown 3 minutes before that I did not see, where they covered the spread.
Yeah, they did. All is well. This episode brought to you by
all is well for some, not for all that had Syracuse covering the spread.
No, we took more, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. So let's discuss, Chad, the upcoming NFL weekend. We're considering Saquon Barkley. Right now, more or less, 1 rushing touchdown. You can choose that right now at Prize Picks. Joe Burrow, more or less than 2.5 passing touchdowns. Josh Allen, more or less than 270 passing yards. Prize Picks is the best way to get action in sports in more than 40 and more states, including California, Texas, Georgia, and they put their users first. All withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. They offer Venmo. Chad's phone now has Apple Pay.
Yes.
MasterCard, and more. So quick and easy deposits for your account this football season. It's easy. It's simple.
No longer with my new phone, I don't have to do everything with traveler's checks anymore.
Yes.
Or Diners Club. I've got Apple Pay also.
Checks.
Hutton, our decision, so many to make. We're always looking at the more option.
We are.
That Saquon Barkley more option is very appealing to me. And that's what's great about Prize Picks. Always fun to pick, always fun to play. Whether you're a more or a less type of person, you're going to have a great time with Prize Picks.
No doubt. They offer injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. It's the best way to win cash this football season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds. Turn your takes into cash all season on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use the code HOTMIC, HOTMIC, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code HOTMIC, HOTMIC. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Back with more.
This fall, you're not just watching the biggest game in college football.
You're at the game.
Bama versus Georgia.
September 27th, Athens.
OutKick's giving one lucky fan and a guest the VIP treatment.
Flights covered.
Hotel covered.
Game tickets, of course.
No purchase necessary.
Just hit OutKick.com/sweepstakes.
College football weekend of a lifetime. OutKick.com/sweepstakes.
OutKick.com. It's Hot Mic with Hutton and Withrow. 6th and Peabody, our location with Yeehaw Beer and Old Smoky Moonshine. It is the ultimate game day experience. Alabama at Georgia. The game is September the 27th. Final chance to sign up. Right now at OutKick.com, you have until September 12th to sign up. So, what, 9 days?
9 days.
9 days. Go register. Everything's taken care of. Game tickets, travel expenses, they're all included in this. Scan the QR code that you see on the screen or go to OutKick.com/sweepstakes and you can enter to win OutKick's ultimate game day experience. Bama at Georgia. Trey Wallace joins us. Trey will likely be at that game. I say likely because, well, we'll see where Bama is by the end of this month. I say that with tongue-in-cheek after what we saw against Florida State. Trey, hope you're doing well, man, and hope you got McConaughey's number.
Yeah, I'm doing good. It was all right weekend besides the offensive output, but that's because of those darn preseason expectations.
And also, give me the approach to Matthew McConaughey. How you what was your go-to line about wanting the picture with him?
And was he cool?
And was he cool about it? And how early is he on the field? I would think he would be just there for kickoff.
So I'm going to one of his events in September in Nashville.
Okay.
And so he was walking.
One of Matthew McConaughey's events?
Yeah, he's got a tour stop at the T-Pack to promote his book, but also at the same time they're doing a little concert thing as well. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't sign up for it. The girlfriend did. So he came onto the field probably 25 minutes before the game. Surrounded by 2 security guards and whatnot. And he was walking towards the sideline, shaking hands with everybody, throwing up the horns to the Ohio State student section and just talking mess. He sat there with Mac Brown and Jim Tressel. They were talking for a minute. And then he made his way to the Texas sideline. And I was kind of following him. I was all right, cool for social media and whatnot. And then he stopped and I was like, hey, man, I look forward to coming to your event in Nashville, blah, 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 making small talk.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you're a football fan. And I was like, yeah, I'm a football fan. And his wife was standing there and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, we were just talking for about a minute, talking about the game coming up, Texas, Ohio State, blah, blah, blah. And then his wife was like, oh, y'all should get a picture together. And I'm like, okay, all right, here's my phone. You can have it,
Nice.
take it. And she was so nice. She took 4 pictures. He stood there with me and he said, man, it was really nice to meet you. Look forward to seeing you in Nashville. I was like, okay, all right, my man. Thank you for the picture. It was fun. And he even asked what my prediction for the game was, and I guess I had to say Texas if I wanted the picture.
Tejas.
But yeah, so it was pretty cool. It was a neat experience. And at the same time, it's you're watching him interact with everybody. He knows everybody on Texas football team.
Sure.
He's going up to the training staff and talking with them. And, him and Chris Delaconte were getting together. It it was just one of those things where, I've seen him so many times, like, the Texas-Alabama game, recently, even the Texas-Vanderbilt game, so we kind of, I'm not saying he recognized me, but we've had conversations before. So it was pretty cool, man. I'm sure he wasn't excited about how the game ended, but yeah, it was fun.
He takes his role as Minister of Culture very serious. That's the best interaction story I've ever heard with
awesome.
a super celebrity, that they offer to take the picture with you, which was great. Hey, Trey, watching that game up close and in person, did anything that happened change your opinion about what both those teams could be or should be this season?
Chad, badass defenses on both sides of the football, and then you look at the Arch Manning, preseason hype going into this. I think both teams are going to be fine. I think that Julian Sain is going to be a good quarterback for Ohio State. I think he'll cause trouble in the Big Ten, and at the same time, Arch Manning's going to continue to grow as a quarterback. And I think that's like, even Steve Sarkisian didn't put him in the best spots. I remember in that 4th and goal from the 1 yard line, they tried to push to get him across. And it's like the Ohio State defense was so good along the line. Why are you trying that one? Why not hand it off or throw something to the end zone, get a little creative? No, Chad, I think Texas is going to be in the conversation when the first CFP rankings come out. Now, I will say this. I did predict Texas to have 3 losses on the season. So does that mean that they're still in the conversation? Yeah. I think at the same time, Ohio State, that defense, Chad, that was an ugly defense. They were dominating. I mean, that line of scrimmage, Matt Patricia had Arch Manning all sorts of confused in the pocket in the first half. And I think so you have to add, like, is there jitters in the first game for Arch? And the same thing can be said for Julian Sain. Absolutely. But the defensive sides were just so damn good. And I think that's what could help Texas out. I know they have a couple of Sisters of the Poor games coming up. No offense to their schedule. But at the same time, no, Chad. I came away from this game thinking the same thing as I thought about for the entire season, that both these squads are going to be in contention. And I heard you talk about, I think it was yesterday. Excuse me if I'm wrong, or maybe, yeah, it was yesterday. Talking about the preseason expectations for Arch. Guys, he told us all of this at media days. He wondered, why the hell am I on the Heisman list? Why the hell am I on these preseason lists for these accolades and top quarterbacks in the country and NFL drafts? Yet he said it. I haven't done anything yet. I don't deserve to be on there. And so I think everybody just kind of needs to slow their roll a little bit with Arch and let the young man grow up as a quarterback in the SEC. That's my biggest takeaway from the Texas side.
So on the list of week 1 disappointments, Hutton's going to get into Alabama here shortly. Yeah. I got to ask you about Clemson. Okay. I'm big on Cade Klubnik being the Heisman Trophy winner. I'm big on that offense having these great receivers and doing great things throughout the season. And week 1 was not that for that Clemson offense. Credit LSU's defense, but how big of a win was that for Brian Kelly in week 1 to go on a road, beat a top 5 opponent? And how disappointed were you, Trey, to watch Cade Klubnik look just like another dude out there?
He looked average, man. He really did. And credit to LSU, Chad, for bringing the heat on defense. Like, I looked at it and I was like, okay, they're loading the box with 7, 8. Like, I could see this going in a different direction for Clemson. It just felt like, man, they never got comfortable. And it felt like Cade was just sitting in the pocket, waiting for 2 LSU corners to come off the edge and blow him up. And so you look at it, like, this is massive for Brian Kelly. If they would have lost that game, you know what the narrative would have been like. Oh, you dropped another season opener. Now you're playing from behind. Okay, well, now you got a nice little hand of cards here. Because that win, because I think Clemson will continue winning. I think they'll be in contention in the ACC. And so you look back on it and you're going on the road and you snag that victory. And the way they do it, and here's the other thing too, Chad, like LSU and Dabo, and even on the defensive side, they never corrected themselves. You remember when towards the end of the game, it was the final LSU touchdown, and they're running a bunch formation all to the right. So it's 1-on-1 down low, and Garrett Nussmeier just tosses it up. But the problem is they ran like 3 plays in a row, LSU did, running the football against Clemson earlier in that quarter, and Clemson just never corrected themselves. And so I look at the defensive side, and I was kind of shocked. And then I look like what you were talking about with Cade Klubnik, where he never was able to hit the pass across the middle, get comfortable. They were trying to open it up down the field against LSU. It never really felt like that he could get in rhythm. And I think, to me, That was the most surprising thing. Like I had a good feeling, I think you did too, in Hut, that Garrett Nussmeier was going to come out and have himself a pretty damn decent game, and they were going to go out there and try to throw the ball around and run it in the offensive line. But man, the Clemson offense just surprised me. And I knew that LSU's defense was good, but there were times where even you could see it with LSU's defense that Clemson just didn't take advantage of it. So, I don't know what grades Dabo was trying to throw out with a 65 for LSU or a 58 for his own team, but I'm telling you, man, they've got some things that they have to correct. I think they will. I think Cade will continue to grow because I think he's a good quarterback, but he was just off balance, in my opinion, kind of from the start of that game and could never really get going.
Well, Kayla DeBoer is off balance with whatever the message is going around with the Alabama program week to week, because we saw this last year and it's carried over now to this year, where one week they're playing well, the next week it doesn't look like they're even trying, especially defensively, which is just egregious for any defense that's come through Tuscaloosa. What do you make of the way that they played? Not that they lost, but the way they played in that game. They started fine. And then just it looked like roles were reversed. They looked like Florida State of last year.
Here's where Alabama has lost the luster. When they get off the bus, the opposing team is not like, oh boy, that's a big MFer coming off the bus.
When they get off the bus, they look like a West Coast team.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it, Hut. They don't look. There were times where Florida State was just trolling them on the line of scrimmage in the trenches, and Alabama never responded. And that's where people that I've spoken with, look, I'm from that state. I know how crazy fans can get and boosters can get, and people around the program can get paranoid as hell about that program. They're freaking out right now because Alabama never responded. I know they had a touchdown there in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, and they got a little bit closer, but that was not an Alabama football team. And that's what people are freaking out about right now, is because it looks nothing like the Nick Saban era. And I know people want to move on from Nick Saban, and that's fine. But one thing about those Saban teams was when they walked into the stadium in their suits or their joggers and whatnot, you knew it was going to be a problem. When you look at Alabama right now, it doesn't look like a problem. You look like a mid-tier SEC team.
Yeah.
And the luster about Alabama and the aura that everything surrounded them, they no longer have that anymore. Teams are no longer scared to play Alabama anymore. And I think that's going to come back and bite them in the ass because I see 3 or 4 more losses coming, especially with the way that they play.
Let me. I was going to follow up with this because you mentioned the 3 or 4 more losses. We watched them. They played like this against Vandy. They were pushed around up front against Vandy. Then they didn't lose the game. South Carolina should have won that game last year against them, the week after Vandy.
Yes.
But then they go on to kick LSU's ass. So do you see the same storyline playing out where at the end of the year, here's Alabama trying to make its case to get into the college football playoff? Like there was still an argument to be made for them despite how they played at times last year, which is very much like we saw against Florida State.
I think Ty Simpson can continue to grow as a quarterback, and I think he's going to be pretty decent for Alabama. The problem is their offensive line, Hut.
Yeah,
that's the big problem right now. And if it's that bad, and if they're the biggest thing that stood out to me, I talked to an Alabama booster yesterday. If we're having to talk about effort in the first game of the year, and I broke down some film with Connor Stallions about this game. I know that's a random name out of nowhere, but I broke down some film with Connor Stallions about this game, and he was showing me plays where Alabama was just misaligned on defense. They weren't lined up for whatever Florida State was trying to run, and Castellanes was getting outside the pocket. And so I look at Alabama, and I think, okay, well, this should be a squad that's able to bounce back. Kayla DeBoer got Ryan Grubb to Tuscaloosa when he tried in his first year to come in and handle these things on offense. But right now, the problem is we always say don't judge a team off the first game. Well, let me tell you something. We can judge this Alabama team off the first game. And I think at the end of the day, they have got so many different problems that can be fixed, by the way, but can they actually pull the team together and fix it? Like, we're not going to find out much against ULM or the Warhawks this weekend. No,
or maybe we will.
Well, we could. We remember 2007.
A hell of a lot this weekend if something else happened this weekend.
That's exactly right. I look. They have, to me, nobody is scared to play Alabama anymore, and to me, that is the biggest problem with the current state of the program right now. And and then last night, and I'll end with this one. But then, we all saw the AJ McCarron comments where, teams are spending $40-50 million and Alabama only has 20. Let me tell you something. There are a number of teams that will compete for a national title this year with a $20 million roster. So I really don't want to hear that shit about Alabama being poor after every loss this season.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. So
they're going to be poor after paying his buyout.
Everyone in college football, Trey, is going to be watching Joey Aguilar and Nico Iamaleava as the great trade of this past offseason. And it's one of 12. It's 1 week. It's a long season. But boy, oh boy, does Nico not look like the biggest cautionary tale of the NIL era through 1 week. And Joey Aguilar, the guy who was cast aside by UCLA, looked pretty good in game one against Syracuse in that Tennessee offense.
Chad, I'm sitting in the press box, okay? I'm sitting next to our guy, Blake Topmar, in Columbus, and I got the Tennessee game on my computer. I'm watching it while I'm watching Ohio State. And I see Joey hit that 70-yard bomb to Staley. I was like, wait a minute, what was that? Where'd that come from? Like, okay, he hit him in stride. Like, that was a badass pass. And then you look at some of the intermediate passes that he had. And then you look at the running game. Like, it just feels like, I'm not saying Tennessee's some playoff team. What I'm telling you is like this offense, they were going to test Syracuse a couple times deep to get the momentum built up inside Joey, give him that confidence. They did that. Well done. Then you look at whatever the hell that was with UCLA and Utah, and you look at Nico, and my dude can't complete a 5-yard pass. He's getting beat up in the pocket. Utah's coming up. Utah's a good team, but come on. You should be able to do more with what you had. And all we heard about, this offseason, hell, it's only been 5 months, 6 months since Nico's actually been out there. But all you heard is, okay, this is going to be a better situation for him. He's going to be able to show out so he can go to the NFL draft, after the season's over and declare, and he's going to be this guy out at UCLA. Guys, no, that's not the case whatsoever. And by the way, this is a quarterback with experience. This is not an Arch Manning or a Julian Sam, where they're not going to grow into their role as a quarterback in college football. We forget, maybe some do. Nico was on a playoff team last year, thanks a lot to the running game, by the way. But now they've got Nico's situation, like you said, should be a massive cautionary tale to listen to the folks that have your best interest at heart and not try to follow the money and not try to be that guy that runs the program just because you're paid the highest out of the locker room. And I think when we all look back on it, sure, it's a little bit laughable. And I'm not laughing at Nico. I'm laughing at the entire situation here because what his family put him through, because I'm not buying it all, wanted to be closer to home. That's bullshit. It wasn't about him being closer to home. At the end of the day, I think we're going to be right. I'm going to be writing about this.
His family moved to Knoxville with him. They were
exactly
there. His home was there.
They had a house 15 minutes north of downtown Knoxville and Powell. Like, stop with all that stuff. So, again, I turned that game off midway through the second quarter. And so I look, and by the way, they're about to get into Big Ten play. Like, you think Utah was nasty? Wait till you face some of these defenses in the Big Ten. I mean, what do you think Michigan or even Ohio State or Oregon, I could go on, would do to this team? So there's going to be comparisons all year long, and there's going to be a lot of hate watching from the state of Tennessee for UCLA games, and people are going to try to compare. I would say Tennessee fans, be happy with what you got out of Joey Aguilar, who 4 months ago, thinking he was going to be the UCLA starting quarterback, now he's performing pretty darn well in the first game against Syracuse.
Trey, great work this past weekend, and I know you'll continue that for week 2, and we look forward to the coverage at OutKick.
Guys, continue killing it. I appreciate you having me on. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, there's Trey Wallace, OutKick.com's senior college football reporter. On Fox 1, now you can stream your favorite live sports, so you can be there live for the biggest moments. Sports, live, DVR proof. Now, I'm not recording the game. I'm watching it live. That means NFL Sundays, college football games, NASCAR, MLB postseason, and more. With Fox 1, you get it all live. Edge of your seat plays, jaw-dropping, high-octane moments, and the feeling like you're right there in the action. It's great to be able to flip it on and watch everything that matters to you. Fox 1, we live for live. Streaming now. More coming. Primary Complaint next. Chad, how did you describe the start of the show? You said you had 2 coffees.
I was
You were
jittery. I
yeah.
was a little bit jittery to start. And you triggered me with a great take
Chad
on broadcast for college football that just got me going, got the blood going.
Chad is jittery. He's triggered. And he's pissed off for greatness. It's time for primary complaint.
It's time to air our top grievance of the week.
You can complain all you want.
My job is so unfulfilling. Don't run away from your feelings.
It's time for Hot Mic's primary complaint.
Guys, my primary complaint this week, I'm sure you heard it all offseason. This was the greatest week 1 in the history of college football. I'm here to tell you this is the shittiest week 2. That's my primary complaint.
It's a bad one. It's a bad one, no doubt. Well said, Hutton. I will say my top 10 this week, there's going to be some surprising matchups in the top 5 that make it. There's going to be real surprising matchups.
Florida State and East Texas A&M.
And 8,
that
9,
is a legitimate
and 10.
game. That is a legitimate game.
We might get Bama of UL Monroe in the top 10.
We get Texas against San Jose State.
Just to see the bounce back.
Indiana against Kennesaw.
Outstanding.
Cannot wait, Chad, for this top 10 tomorrow.
You throw out the
Friday.
record. You throw out the records when Kennesaw and Indiana.
Yeah, no doubt.
When they get together.
Syracuse goes from Tennessee to now UConn.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the.
That's actually a pretty good game. It's like a 6.5 point spread in that one. I'm excited about that one.
Yeah.
My primary complaint this week, also college football related. So I did a video from home that became a social media post for OutKick about Alabama's mystique being dead. I did this video while grilling for the family, and there was like a split-second little shot of the wings that I was grilling.
Oh.
Okay?
Yeah.
Alabama fans are so pissed off after this, right?
Gosh.
They really can't object to anything I'm saying because they know I'm 100% right on everything being said in the video. So they attack everything else about the video. They attack the wings. They attack the lack of kids that I mentioned in the video not being seen in the video behind me. They attack my sunglasses. They attack every single thing about the video because they can't acknowledge the fact that their mystique is dead, and it died when Saban left to do ESPN College Game Day. So my primary complaint is not understanding the cooking process of grilling wings. People are pointing to, boy, though, you just murdered those wings. I can't believe someone thinks those are wings. It's not a finished product. Like when you grill the wings, you start by cooking them in like an oven-like setting in the foil. Then you take it out and you're getting a char on the wings. Then I finish them in a homemade sauce and I'm tossing the wings there. Like these are full chicken wings on the grill. All right. This would be like looking at a Ferrari on the assembly line when it's not been put together yet and saying, you call that shitty excuse for a car a Ferrari? Yeah. That's not a Ferrari. The wings weren't done, people. So before you start to knock my culinary abilities, understand that I did not show you the finished product. I might show you the finished product this Saturday if you keep talking so much shit. That is my primary complaint.
Wings to a Ferrari. I have to try these now.
It's the Ferrari of wings. Look, my wings aren't the best, but people making this assumption that I don't know how to grill because I'm in the beginning processes of charring wings.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm not showing you what I actually ate in the video.
You're saying like those fans can take their Mercury Cougar wings and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, well, this is what people do when they know you're right. It's you're ugly, you're fat, you don't actually have kids. What poor excuse of a father?
You don't actually have kids.
Someone said, "Who's the poor woman who married you?" People just attack everything they can other than what you're saying because they know what you're saying is right.
I love how they zoomed on the wings. That's just
I had that video sent to me after Chad cut it, and I was sitting there watching it, and he said he was grilling, and in the back of my mind, I was like, "Oh, don't show the wings," because I knew that was what was going to happen. And then he pulls the camera over, and I was like, "Oh, he's done. That's all they're going to talk about is the wings on the grill."
Real quick, the greatest just side note. Whenever someone says birds aren't real, just ask them if they eat chicken.
Well, the people that are commenting on it
that's how you end that argument.
They don't even understand how grilling works.
Well, they I guess they just go pick it up at Buffalo Wild
It's like they wanted to see like the perfect buffalo wing with sauce on it on the grill. That's not how it works in that part of the process.
Well, because their mom made it for them.
Right. Like I could have shown raw wings on there. that I just threw on there. People are like, you're going to eat those raw? You're going to feed those to your kids? You're going to kill them if you feed them that. Of course I'm not.
Can you imagine if you played the offensive, like the offended in response, like, how dare you? You don't have kids. Like, how dare you say I shoot blanks? You know, like if you came back at them,
it's
made
always,
them feel bad for commenting.
I feel like, if someone's like, I hate this part. Like, well, that's because I'm battling cancer. Like if
and then see what their response.
Someone's like, nice hairline, buddy. I'm like, I'm undergoing chemo.
Yeah, and you're like,
just repost it and put that.
What would their response
be? And be like, no, I'm just messing with you. I'm actually
What would
not.
their response be? I wonder.
Oh, they would probably just delete their account.
I think there'd probably be.
And they would start a neutral account.
Either that or nice wings.
They'd come at me from a neutral account that they formed after that. Is what they would do.
I think there'd probably be a DM sent to like both of you guys and the Hot Mic account apologizing. Something along those lines.
Let bygones be bygones. I think.
Right.
Water under the bridge.
Go ahead, Adam.
Guys, you can probably hear my primary complaint in my voice. I woke up yesterday, and this is my favorite time of year. But like Poison said, every rose has its thorn, and fall's thorn is seasonal allergies, and it hits me like a truck. And it hit me yesterday, and I'm going through it. And the seasonal allergies are my primary complaint.
In high school, we called it mono.
I am like sick today too. I'm glad I'm not alone. Hutton is congested as well.
Congested too.
I've been sneezing since last night, and it is. I thought I was ill. And I'm like, it's got to be allergies, right?
It's got to be.
And then it's my youngest had the same allergy problem. Didn't want to go to school today, and I'm like, this is bad.
It was a badge of honor though in high school to have mono because that means you made out with someone.
Yeah, at least. Well, that you could spread the rumors.
You could say that.
Yeah.
Sean, what's up?
Would have given my mono badge of honor back. Worst sickness I've ever had in my lifetime. I mean, 2 weeks, just devastated. So never needed that badge in the first place.
Are you just tired all the time? I've never had mono, so I don't know what it does to you.
I just pretended to have it.
Yeah, mine was throat closed up, couldn't open jaw, couldn't sleep, just genuine agony. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how bad it was.
You're describing Adam right now.
Yeah,
we're almost
there.
Luck,
buddy.
Yeah, in elementary school there was a girl that got it that I remember, and they like had to push this girl around in a wheelchair all week. Like she had the mono where like you can't move, like you're like debilitated for.
Why was she in school?
I don't know.
She was in school with mono?
Yeah, that's back when we were alphas, okay?
God.
I don't think there's a lot of symptoms that go with that other than like
back when people cared about
tiredness.
Holy shit, we used to build things in this country, didn't we? We were wheeling a girl around elementary school with mono.
You can't miss the TCAP.
It's a contagious disease.
Well, I mean,
no one in your school step up and be like,
she's gonna make up with somebody.
Let's take a couple weeks off. We can send the work home with you. Instead, like, no, she's going to school.
She's going to be there.
I don't care if she has no use of her legs. She'll be in school. Prompt. 7:15 a.m. She will be in school being wheeled around by a nurse.
She was the line leader all week in a
Good
wheelchair.
Lord. We will catch China eventually if we continue with that attitude. It's great.
We got Sean. Sorry.
My primary complaint, for the first time in 11 years, I am without a car. And I feel like a freshman in high school again. Like I feel like a child, and it is freaking me out every day that I look past the parking lot where I used to have it. It's not there, and I don't know how to operate. I feel trapped. I feel like a dog in a cage. It doesn't feel right for me. I don't know if I'll ever get used to it. This has been a painful first couple days having to, not have the access to get out if I need to get out.
Have you like gone towards the car and then realized like it's not there anymore?
Yeah. I'm like, look, let me scan because I like looking at the wheel pressure, see if the aromatic dropped a little bit. Now it's gone. It's just gone.
Is this a permanent move or is your car just being worked on?
Permanent. I think it's a permanent move. Yeah.
That's tough.
I've been an avid driver ever since I could drive, and now it's gone.
It is a weird feeling, even if your car is just in the shop for a little bit.
Is it though?
And you're like, hey, I need to go do this. It's like, wait a minute, I don't have a car.
It's weird
to go do anything.
Absolutely, it would be weird but like, is it easier to commute for you now? Like to get around?
It was a pay for parking thing. Like I was just tired of getting, taken advantage of by this lot by me, and I just not sustainable. All right, I guess we'll just sell the car now. I'll be without a car up here. Like most people are. Most people get used to it. I'm being a big baby.
Speaking of wheelchairs on the way out, Little Richard. Whenever I was helping call games for the Nashville Cats, early morning commercial flights, Little Richard gets pushed from the security check-in all the way to gate C-23, which is like the last gate for like Southwest. We're headed to like Grand Rapids or something.
Yeah.
I don't know why he was going. But he's pushed in a wheelchair all the way. He's got 3 blankets over the top of
He's
him.
playing a casino up there.
He gets to the terminal and proceeds to take the blankets off like he's Kevin Nash in WWE and just walks on like Tutti Frutti all the way to the...
He's the Undertaker
we
rising out of the coffin.
And we're all like just, eyes just bloodshot red because we played the night before. It's 5:30 in the morning. And, we see Little Richard as we get on the plane.
He gives you a little wop, bop, a loo, bop, a wop, bam, boom.
Yeah,
and hops on.
He does that. He like skipped to his loo all the way down to the plane, and then like covered back up in blankets and greeted everyone with a handshake as we got on the plane.
Adam, did your elementary girl do the same thing? Did she pop up one day?
At the end of the week, that was how she celebrated, was Little Richard impression.
Like Christ on the third day, she just rises one day during geography.
He was.
I'm healed.
He was the leper.
Oh man.
Yeah, he was like he'd been cast out of the city gates, and all of a sudden he was just like waltzing back in like a pimp.
I feel like everybody who's lived in Nashville has seen Little Richard at the airport in a wheelchair. Because I have a distinct memory of Little Richard with a blanket over his lap in a wheelchair at the airport.
It was like an Afghan almost.
Yeah, like he knitted it the night before.
Yeah, or he like had it was a very cheap one. It was like the airport version.
Yeah.
And he had like 3 of them wrapped around his waist, and then like he gets pushed all the way up, and he's got the shiny boots on and steel toe boots, and just gets on there and like skips all the way down to the dancing all the way like he's R-Truth in WWE.
Can't beat Little Richard.
Guys, well done. Fun show today. Back
Great
at
show.
It tomorrow. Guess what's tomorrow? The National Football League.
We have a fantasy football draft tonight too.
Yes, we do.
I have not prepared.
I have not either.
But when you're as good as Hutton and I at playing fantasy football, you don't need to prepare.
Time to go win.
You just show up. When the lights come on, you play.
I'll see you in the championship game.
Hell yeah.
See you
Once
tomorrow,
again.
11 a.m. Eastern, right here. Hot Mic, Hutton and Withrow, OutKick.com.